Buddha boss.
Hey.
That's your word.
Buddha boss. Apparently it has a guy. There's the Buddha boss guy. I think he's a whole brand by himself. It is well. How you doing, man?
I'm salama sana. I'm great and grateful.
Nakucheki, man.
Yeah.
Sexy voice, bro. Mbona uko uncomfortable bana? Nimeturn tables. That's what's up. Karibuni sana.
Wazee fala.
Ladies and gentlemen, now we have to occasionally, once in a while, say hi to the people.
Yeah, how are you guys doing?
We have a camera. We have cameras, in fact. Look at that. We have a bigger team. Busy being born. Ka hujako ukitusikiza, kindly check us out on all platforms. We'll tell you the details as the podcast goes. But for now, welcome.
Welcome. This episode, our first visual episode, is brought to you by Funky Science. Funky Science, FUNKESCIENCE, is an education technology company striving to ensure that kinesthetic learning is incorporated into cognitive learning at a young age through creative experimentation. Funky Science delivers creative science experiments via online classes, camps, clubs, and events with the aim of encouraging students to love and practice science. The direct beneficiaries of Funky Science are school-going children of ages between 5 and 13. The experiments are interactive and encourage children to ask all sorts of questions about science and also to participate in a wide variety of experiments. And introducing the Funky Science Kit. Funky Science has incorporated the learning aspects into their novel science kits. These kits help children discover new lessons and amazing adventures. Each kit has experiment flashcards to guide the child with step-by-step instructions on how to conduct each experiment. They have content that is fun, relevant, and aligns with educational curricula, in this case CBC, and develops an innovative spirit in learners by using regular, everyday tools that can be found within the household. And you can check them out on their YouTube pages. Right now they're doing a lot of experiments, and it's fun experiments that you can also follow at home with your child. They work towards inspiring the next generation of scientists. Email them, ask@funkyscience.co.ke. You can also follow them on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok.
TikTok.
Yeah, look out for their YouTube page. It's getting, they're pushing a lot of videos, and even I enjoy them, to be honest.
Yeah.
And I think it's enjoyable for every school-going child between age 5 and 13.
That's what's up.
Funky Science, thank you so much for being the sponsors of
the first visual episode.
Very good friends of the podcast.
Very good. Yeah, we could almost say we sleep in the same bed. You know? But it is well, ladies and gents. Karibuni sana. Here we are, the Busy Being Born podcast. Tumefurahia sana to have you guys here. Today we have a guest, kama kawaida. For those who don't know, this is episode number 36. Yeah, 36. This is our second season, so we are slightly past the half point mark. Yeah, with time you'll figure why we laugh once in a while. So we have a guest.
We have a guest.
Paul,
man. I don't know why. Hey, you're taking me out today.
Oh, good. We have a guest.
We have a guest.
We have a guest. Please ask and I'll answer.
Are they brilliant?
Yes, they are brilliant. Of course they are.
Do they represent the motherland?
Oh, they do. They do. They immensely represent the motherland.
Nice. Amazing.
In so many ways.
Yeah, and last but not least, are they busy being born?
This one is definitely busy being born. Busy being born not only in the way they live their life, but also busy being born because they've journeyed with this particular podcast for the longest time. So wacha niwa introduce.
Let's go for it.
Tell
us more.
Ladies and gentlemen, today's guest is a brilliant performing artist and a brilliant mind. This is a storyteller, a poet, an actor, a rapper, a writer, a voice-over artist, a TV presenter, producer, director, sound engineer, and so much more. In truth, he's a renaissance man in each and every way. He's eclectic in each and every other way as well. And again, brilliant and intentional in all the paths that he picks. Like, personally, I've seen this guy and how versatile he is, and I'd say he's definitely brilliant and very intentional. For you guys at home, I'm sure you've seen this guy before. You have watched the award-winning actor from shows like Lusala, the film. You've seen him on Crime and Justice. You've seen him on Country Queen.
My favorite.
That's your favorite so far, yeah? Afo sawa maze. You've seen him on TV ads. And even on stage, you know him very well from the phenomenal storytelling guys. This is Too Early for Birds, which he co-founded alongside his friend and co-star, that is Ngatia, and a formidable team of artists and poets behind the Too Early for Birds brand. So, ladies and gentlemen, we give you the incomparable Nuuman Abu, aka Abu Sensei. Hey. Karibu sana, man. Hey. It's about time. Last time tulikuintroduce tulicheza mdogo mdogo. Today we had to go all out, bro.
Thank you, man.
Yeah.
Karibu sana.
Because then we were doing a review sort of.
Yeah.
Not really.
Featuring the guests. Karibu sana.
Mnafa kunini, like you put these intros in a document somewhere and it starts selling to people. Like it's money.
Yeah?
It's money.
That's what's up, Maze. It's about time, eh? Good idea. Utabai.
Tabai.
Hapa sawa.
Tabai.
Good to have you.
Thank you so much for, first of all, just accepting to do this.
Asante. man.
Despite everything that you do, being the brilliant person behind our sound and everything that we do, we credit that to you and we're very grateful for that. And even over and above that, kukubali tu to sit here with us and tell us your story and share your lessons of busy being born.
Yeah.
Thank you for inviting me over. It's been a long time coming. We've been speaking about this for sporadically.
Maze. Every like 3 episodes to pop. Boom, Maze.
Maybe because of the conversations we have before and after the recordings of
It feels like I've actually interviewed you.
Right?
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Because of all the conversations that we've had.
Yeah.
It feels like every single time we're here in your studio, it feels like I get so many lessons from you.
Asante.
man.
Likewise.
It's about time we give these stories and lessons to the world.
Yeah.
So karibu sana, man.
Thank you.
We're honored to have you.
Asante, man.
Where to start? This is always the question.
Yeah.
Tuanze kule alianzia.
Ulianzia wapi, Abu? How was your childhood? I think maybe that's the best place to start. Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Mombasa, in different places actually. I grew up in Mombasa, Dar es Salaam. At some point nilikuwa New Jersey for 2 months, which felt like a lifetime. And then came back to Kenya, Nairobi. Nairobi has been home consistently. So this is the place where I can say that, I'm proud to say that Nairobi, mimi ni mtoto wa mji.
Yeah.
Childhood ilikuwa poa. I saw so many things in my childhood that people would categorize as gangster, as slum, as nini, but to me it was the normal thing. Plus, that's not the life that I lived. That's the life that my parents lived. I just happened to be in that environment. To me, as a child, like juangi mali huko, it's just a normal thing. Unacheza na mchanga the same way other kids cheza na mchanga. But I've lived in diverse places and in so many houses that to answer that question is really like it needs a longer story. Because I've seen so many cultures inside houses. Imagine like each house has its own way of doing things. I've adopted so many of those over time. I think for the longest time ilikuwa inani confuse as to who I am as a person, because you see family members doing things, and I'm not saying like doing things hapo hivi nimeweka in such a intense word, but like going about their lives, and you adopt some of those methods, some of those teachings, some of those words, and as a child you're a sponge, so you take everything. But to answer your question shortly, I've grown up in so many places, and childhood was awesome. It was really cool.
What was the reason for you moving between these homes, if you don't mind sharing?
My parents never lived, they didn't have a happy marriage. So alafu unajua in the 90s, like people just did jobs because they needed to survive. It's not because
They were passionate about them.
Exactly. It's not like what we have saizi, where we can have choices of what to do. Back then, niko sure you say if you said you're a data scientist, you'd be laughed at. Oh, probably utangaliwa like cheesy or something, or very peculiar with your wants and needs. So my dad was a tour guide for various companies, but the company that he stayed there for a while was Pullman's. I think you've seen it up with
Yeah,
GM opposite. That was my world. Mi nilikuwa najua Pullman's is the only company in this on this earth. Sabu, like I loved it. I saw my dad loving the experience of being a tour guide, experience of actually talking to people from various countries and sharing cultures nini nini. And I think for the better part of his life alikuwa amependa sana that job. My mom at some point was a waitress, but she finished school. She was really cool about her outlook about the world ilikuwa very fresh and amazing. But at the end of it all, she was an African mom bado, unajua, like she was the one mwenye alikuwa anataka everything to be excellent. She didn't want anything to slip through the gaps. I don't know much about my mom because she passed away nikikuwa mtoi. However,
How old were you? Sorry.
I was 9 when she passed away. Where was I going with this story? What's the question?
Why you moved around so
Oh
many
yes.
years, yeah.
So my dad being a tour guide, he wasn't around much. And since my parents split up, I went with dad and my younger bro went with mom. My dad ali try his best, like he was mother and father to me, truly, like 100%. But at the same time, he wasn't around. Job yake demanded that he's gone for 3 weeks, 2 weeks, a month. And your inconsistency, he didn't want that his child or any other child that would be around his place could experience in and out. And I come from a Swahili culture. We raise our children in the village sense. Like seriously, nikipata mtoi sahi, it's not a good thing to do it, but it's part of our culture. I can hand over the kid to my cousin or someone, unajua, and we'll take that child as our own. That's the culture that nimekuwa raised in. And so that's the thing. I was in boarding school since class 3.
Wow.
Yeah, that was one solution that my dad thought itakuwa poa. Which was okay, in the end, your experience of boarding has been hot and cold. And then once my auntie saw me in the condition of a boarding school, in class 3, akasema, you know what, just peleka umtoi Dar es Salaam. Because huku Nairobi, we're already full house. Every house has about 4 kids. There's no capacity to take in more kids, even if we'd like to. So nikaenda Dar es Salaam and lived there for 3 years with my grandma, and I received the best type of love I've ever received in my entire life, because my dad is the last born of 8-9 children, and he wasn't raised in the household of his mom. And so his mom avenged all the love on me, which was amazing. For 3 years, I had
making up.
Hey, say, like I was super spoiled to the point that sikuwa nataka kurudi Nairobi. Niko like, I don't even miss anyone, like. Yeah. But when she passed away, my grandmother, that is, people, the family was left in disarray, because most of our family wako Dar es Salaam or TZ, spread all over. But the family was left in disarray. Like she was the unit, she was the centerpiece, she was the rock of Gibraltar for the entire family. And once that was gone, people just went their separate ways. Nikarudi back to Nairobi. Our parents, I think at some point they feel you'd find a better life maju. So that's how I ended up in New Jersey at my aunt's place. But ilikuwa immediately after 9/11, say ilikuwa 2002. My names, sina any other African name that I can adopt at that point, sikuwa nayo. So my names were really super Islamic, like Abubakar, Said, Yusuf. Like, no, this is one of them.
Is this where Nuuman comes in?
Norman is my dad is called Nuuman, NW man. It's an Arabic name still, but it means color red. And so for him, like the tourists that he got was Russians, French, nini. They couldn't say Nuuman, so they baptized him Norman. It was easier for them to say that, and so he picked it up, but it's not his official name. At some point, like indoctrination is really weird. Sometimes you just never see it coming, because
That's the whole idea.
exactly. Because he adopted the name and I adopted it de facto because I thought that is his name. At some point ni mimi kuangalia through documents, like nikienda sa kuapply for shule ngo like hii W inatoka wapi? His spelling ni weird sana.
Yeah.
And so I asked him, and he confirmed eventually. Akasema, that's where the name Norman came from. Yeah.
So jazzy.
Yeah, after I came back, I was really distraught because I believed in the better life outside of Africa. I believed in the better life in a foreign country. I believed that people who are not within my culture, within my sense of thinking, would treat me better. But after I was sent back up and I got like, and I was super young. I was really, really, really young. This is the point where my first ever album to buy for rap album ilikuwa Get Rich or Die Trying. I bought a physical copy in Dar Es Salaam in preparation for New Jersey. I really love your album, even to this date, and the artist himself. 50 Cent is amazing to me. Like say, I think the guiding spirit wangu, because he's just, like he doesn't edit, self-edit aiko. But when I was brought back, I felt like I was reduced. I was brought back, Nico, like, maybe I don't fit the culture. Maybe I don't fit the Onitaki, and the sense of being here grew stronger and stronger and stronger. So hata nikienda place, I really miss home immediately. Nimeland your place.
Yeah.
Like as soon as tu nimefika,
Miss home.
Nadai kurudi home.
Yeah. You've said brought back. So is this to mean you coming back was never really a choice kind of thing?
It wasn't a choice.
What's the story there, if you don't mind?
Well, the story was that my visa had expired. My stay there ilikuwa ati 30 days nini. But I know because my aunties and my family relatives wanted to cushion the blow of they can't give you a green card hapa.
Yeah.
So
it's a really awkward time.
It's a really awkward time.
Yeah.
It was too, people are being deported, people are being screened, what were like countries that are being locked out of the United States, and you know what, it's okay. Yeah, but they didn't have to explain it to me, like how our parents don't explain things straightforward. They use proverbs, or they cushion the language kiasi so that you don't feel like you're a reject. Yeah, so that's what happened. Karudi
Or appeal to authority. Yes, appeal to authority.
Yeah, exactly.
So there's a lot of movement in childhood, yeah? Who is the most consistent figure?
Friends, to be honest. I can tell you that for sure. I even saw my cousins, first cousins, relatives, nini, as friends. I had to make friends every single time. Every place me nimeenda, I think this is a culture of mine yenye adopt. It's something that habitually just happens. I make friends wherever I go, because I'm not certain. Like that, maybe it's PTSD, knowing that maybe place itakuwa hapa for a few days. I'm never gonna be here forever, nini, or see these people forever. I just make friends so that whatever happens, I can come back and say, you know what, Najom say from this place, and we had a good time. So friends have always been the consistent patch and grounding platforms for me. Yeah.
And finally, tukiwa right around your true season ya your childhood, in retrospect, thinking about your days in at class 3 in boarding, so instead of asking you particularly around that experience, I would ask, would you take a child that is that young to boarding? And if yes, why? And if no, why?
Why not?
Hell no. Hell no, because boarding gives you some. I don't know if shule zimechange sahi. The last time I was in boarding was 2009. But you tend to miss a lot, like the world passes you by. Even if there are breaks in between, even if kuna sijui half term, what term, nini, there's so much that happens within a day that passes you by. And you don't have a lot to work with. You just have whatever is confined in those four walls, in that school ground, and that's what you have only. And you depend a lot on other people's experiences in boarding, because msara kama mekushoniaje, nimeruka ukuta, nimeenda club, nimefanya hivi, so all you have like is your imagination of what that person is experiencing. You're not experiencing that. Sure, it builds the imagination, sure it builds your character for storytelling, but at the same time, like you're not there to experience. The authenticity of the experience is not with you. I really did not like boarding. I grew to accept it, not like it. It made me niko organized, yes, but I'd like to think that's what my dad gave me. It was just passed down because he's a very organized guy. Yeye ni msee wa mafolders, files, nini. He would really drill you on keeping receipts. Evo. So I got that from him. What I got from boarding, man, ni trauma, especially in primary school. I didn't like it at all because I just felt like I'm missing out on people. I came back home, my friends had moved on. Like we can't even connect anymore. There's nothing to talk about. They were in day school, washaanza ku experience MP3s, bikes, nini, blah blah. Like the world passes you by. And it's unbelievable because I only got into music in Form 3. That's the first, yani, sitting down and listening to music. Form 3. That's late for someone who's trying to be an artist, for someone who's trying to get into the arts. You need to be exposed to the world and absorb things. I have this thing with my friends that we usually talk about, the fact that so many African artists right now, it has changed, but so many African artists, whether in music or in arts, they find themselves in their 30s. And then you compare yourself with the kina Nasir Jones, kina the 50 Cents, Nani. These guys found themselves in their mid-20s, even
early 20s.
Shit, Nas alikuwa na drop album akikuwa what, 19? Illmatic came out when he was 19, and that's a polished album. The rest of his art ilikuwa when he was uko early teens. And so that frustrated me so much because and it gave me the fear of time all the time. Nico, like fear of time because I'm coming back home and I'm seeing all my friends on me move. Like umsi ako hapa, umsi ako pale. Like they're doing things, They even if they didn't want to do things, they found themselves in artistic spaces. They found themselves capturing their imagination and their visions and all that. So it really frustrated me that I was in boarding school and I felt like I was in prison, so, to be honest. I know I'm talking about it harshly, but there are moments in boarding school that I enjoyed, but that's the thing in
that's
I feel like
that's your
a lot of
experience.
us we connect.
We spoke about this in a previous
trauma
episode, just a
and
bit, during the last No Guest But Nuggets episode. I want to take you back a bit, and I don't know if you're comfortable speaking about this. If you're not, it's totally okay.
That's okay.
Your mom, you say that you don't have that many memories of your time with her. The few that are there, maybe, are there any highlights?
There's one, but nilikuwa namsumbua. So I remember one time she went to look for a job at Village Market. And this is the first time that any of us had ever gone to Village Market. She was going to look for, I think, a waitress job. And my mom hakuwa na much, but if it's something quality, she would do everything within her power to get that experience for that quality. That's what I liked about her. The carts, the two driving things at Village Market, hizo I had never in my entire life seen them. Nilikuwa tu dumbfounded hapo with my mouth wide open. I think there's a picture I have showing me exactly in that moment, because other kids wame disperse, mi niko tu what? You mean they're cars for kids? My size?
And you can get it and drive.
Mind blown.
Ina move peke yake. So she saw that without me having saying anything.
Yeah.
She saw that look. Na immediately tu nikapata laps kadhaa hapo hivyo. She didn't have much. Sincerely speaking, she didn't have anything on her. Ni mabeste zake who actually paid for that trip, because we went as a group with her friends. But I was in the car na nikachapa malaps kadhaa. I remember crashing into so many people, crashing into the guy who was ushering the kids into the arena. And we went around the village market pia looking at things. I don't think that was a successful day to my mother because she was really down. Na nilikuwa na feel. But pia mimi niko village market. Nimeona things that I don't normally see.
Yeah.
Naishi Calif manze. So nikaona the first ever Superman action figure iko tu hapo kwa display. Like say whoever it is alifanya maksudi tu, like alieka tu hapo kwa display as the centerpiece. We stayed there for I think 20 minutes with me crying at the top of my voice, top of my lung, everything
That
just
you wanted.
wanting hiyo kitu. Na ilikuwa like I think 5K or something. Nilikuwa nasema this is the thing yenye nimetaka na this is the one yenye natoka nayo, but she couldn't afford it. Unajua, like I didn't see the sacrifice ya kunieka into the cars kwanza, the kiddo cars ya move around. To me I didn't know things required money for that. Nilikuwa najua tu if you want it you get it. And so like alikuwa na so much patience, and after that she took me to Uhuru Park, Sparleta hapo hivyo 10 bob. Ilikuwa inaitwa nini hiyo nini, the softer
Kasoda.
softer, alafu tukaenda boat ride hiyo ya kupedal.
Yeah.
And it made my entire day. I forgot about village
Market.
market, nini,
Yeah.
blah blah. She was super patient because to me I knew my mom as being harsh. Alikuwa sometimes unajua like impatience na creep in coffee. But hiyo day like she showed me grace, she showed me patience and everything else. I knew mi naenda kuchapwa nyumbani, but after the Uhuru Park incident, hiyo moment that we shared, like that's the memory that I have. I have a memory of her giving me 1 bobs nikienda madrasa so that I can buy sweets. And sweets hiyo day manze ulikuwa na buy 1 bob unapata sweets 3. So nilikuwa na share na wase. I remember her me not having a lunchbox, akiniekea food kwa hiyo front pocket ya bag, kashatas, mandazis, nini. Like my bag nikifika shule iko oily as hell but I'm happy. Unajua I have something to eat. And the incident yenye nilikuwa na try kumdanganya that nimefukuzwa shule because nimechelewa, nikaogopa kuchapwa starehe school, sitakumbuka because walikuwa wanachapana na waya hapa hivi kwa Zgwembe. Came back home, tried to fake ati nimejasho, nimeka hapo hivyo maji, afu nikajitrikulia hapa.
Alianza kuwa kitambo buda.
Alianza kitambo, nikajitrikulia. Kumbe time yote ako kwa window tu anaochi. Sasa nimeingia kwa hao like mom,
Yeah.
like she did not like lying. Like tell you whatever it is that you have to say it. Unajua, don't edit it. Usikama hapa hivi unishow ati sijui meni usidanganye, you don't have to do it.
What happened that day bana? Matuacha hanging bana after coffee ulirudi shule.
Alinyesha cartoon na nikawatch mse.
Look at that.
Like she knew how to balance the punishment plus happiness. Unajua, like alikuwa tu anajua she doesn't want to be the punishing parent.
Yeah.
You understand?
How long from that moment, your village market, did you realize how big a sacrifice she had made? Was it after she rested? Was it in your adulthood? Or was it a few, I don't know, years after that?
You know, to be honest, and this is something probably nafaa kusema in private, but still, I'm 31 years old and I still have mommy issues because I've never figured out. I really want to know who my mother was, you know? And people keep having stories and telling tales, nini, but wanasema story halfway and it becomes something that I want more. Tell me more, because this is the one parent that I haven't experienced. Please tell me more. I guess sometimes, like when it's a Sunday afternoon and I have nothing else to do, I keep thinking about her, and I try to make myself understand of the sacrifices that she made, but I need the stories to back those up. Not that I need proof upon. I just need the stories to back up the fact that she made those sacrifices. I want to know exactly what she did. I'm a functional guy. I like knowing how easy pieces of puzzles fit together. And so with those stories, I think that can be complete.
Yeah. Did you grieve? Did you understand what was happening by the time she was resting?
There's a period in time when I was living in Dar Es Salaam in those 3 years. A few months in a Peter, like particular days too. I start weeping uncontrollably because, well, thought yake may pass through my mind, but because I don't have enough information in me about my mom, inaisha. Like it's just a 2-minute, 3-minute long weep, and then that's it.
Yeah.
I remember her burial. My brother and I were playing, we were laughing, because we are lawyers, half lawyer. She's a lawyer. She was a lawyer. She was buried at home in the home compound, and her room where she was when she was a teenager, kikaapo, like her room, that's where my brother and I slept, and the coffin was right outside here. So they left the coffin overnight up nje, and it really felt like I'm being told a bedtime story by my mom. Unajua, like it felt, the warmth was there. It's in Vihiga. It gets cold as hell sometimes huko. But nilikuwa na feel she's there telling us stories, unajua, keeping us warm. And it felt so good. I didn't find a reason to cry until I saw the coffin being lowered into the ground. That's when it can hit like, oh, yo, she's not coming back. What? And that's when I cried. But ever since, imekuwa tu sporadic here and there. I don't think I've cried about it ever since. Like maybe your grief bado iko in me.
Yeah. The venerable Thich Nhat Hanh, who I really, really adore, and may he rest in peace, reminds us that we are clouds and clouds never die. So it's a cycle of life. So your mom is still with us. Yeah, because it's rain, just, here now. And then it evaporates.
Cyclic.
Yeah, it's cyclic, right?
This also reminds me of, I'm trying to remember the name of that film, but Ava DuVernay's first film, short film. She doesn't share that much about it, but it's about a mom taking her children out. I think it's Ava's personal story. I think it was her first short film. So it's 3 kids, wanapakwa mafuta, tuende mjibambe, tununue switi, to buy ice cream, tugawane, msitishe kitu ingine, but she dresses them up just to go out. Anawak na what she has. Take your kids out, wakae smart. And I think later in life she says she thinks her mom alikuwa tu zile za, I just want my kids to also feel special, but pia mimi ni feel maze I'm trying. So it takes me back to, unajua, a story kayo ile ya our moms doing their best to just maze give us a good time.
They did.
And they had their challenges, maze. The 90s was notorious for the whole splitting thing. I've experienced that. You have as well. Where it's mostly one parent who held fort for the longest time.
Yeah.
So, yo, bro.
Yeah, totally. And just to latch onto that, I remember having this conversation with my mother when I was telling her about, we were going to put the kids to bed and so on and so forth. I'm telling her, I'm feeling a bit exhausted. Then it just hit me. She did this by herself.
Yeah.
By herself. I am getting tired. And I'm not even honestly, in terms of the caregiving, right now, my kids, I'm not the primary caregiver, but I'm tired some days, right? My wife, I can imagine what she's feeling, and she has my help. And we have a helper in the house, right? And we have this great community around us. My mom was just by herself.
Yeah, man.
Just imagine what she had to go through. Your mom as well, and your mom.
True.
So it's just a reminder about the sort of love that they had and how deep it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, man. Watcha, now that tuko around childhood, let's go to the next level.
Yeah.
You're growing older as we go. as time does and life does, you're now hopefully in your teens. Na nasema hopefully because my question is, at what point do you discover I'm different, like I'm gifted? There are some things that come easier to me than anyone else, particularly around arts.
There was there was a lot of resistance. Not from me,
Yeah.
but there was a lot of resistance around me. First of all, I need to give a shout out before we move on. I need to give a shout out to my aunties because they never made me feel like I lacked a mom. Walikuwa hapo
Amazing.
all the way.
Amazing.
Some of them never even met my mom. Wako tu, yo, unataka food, unataka nini, unataka, like, ilikuwa just a sense of protection that your dad gives you protection, but the woman protection
women.
is
Lionesses,
is
bro.
The
different.
mothers
we
of the
say.
world. Yeah.
Like they give you protection mentally and they give you protection emotionally, and that's what I received from my aunties all over. Like, you go, okay, we see you, ni nini kuja, and then they never give you explicitly this is mental protection, it's just they're telling you stories and then you get out of it and then you know how to block.
Maybe
yeah.
there's not that much grief in you right now,
Maybe
as much as you think, because of that as well.
Yeah,
That played
yeah.
a critical role.
yeah
Yeah.
I know in each household niko na madhe, so
Amazing.
so that's what I appreciate about like our African culture. It's like mama mkubwa, mama mdogo, mama this, mama that, like everyone is mom.
I love it.
Yeah.
That gets me very emotional, man.
Yes,
The resistance.
the resistance. First of all, man, the schools nilipelekwa kuna drama school. Like nothing. But my primary was okay. My primary, that's when I discovered it. Nilikuwa kindergarten, and like graduating from kindergarten to class 1, and I started performing to people on stage, and that's when I realized that I'm shy nikikuwa huku nje. Like when I'm my normal self, I'm shy. But once I step on stage, I don't know what comes over me. I don't know if I'm adopting another character, another perspective, but it's super confident to the point that hata mi nataka tu kubaki stage. So that's when nilianza tu hizo mafununu zilikam then. And then once forming the friends groups nini, I gravitated towards the ones who are more artistic, the ones who are expressive in a sense and troublemakers. Sendo nilikuwa tu I speak your language or you speak mine. I remember even having like the dining hall cliques, just telling each other stories about where we come from, about nini. We're in class 3. Tunachapa story as if unajua like we're retracing everything factually iko hapo tu, and everything was so clear to me. Nikasema, maybe this is the path that I want to choose. However, from class 4 onwards, it became a sense of I maybe need to back it up with a serious career choice. Hapo sando dreams are piloting zikaanza come through. I need to be a doctor. I need to be this. I need to have a
lawyer. Did you ever think of
No, a lawyer never. But I thought of being a historian, like true historian of studying books nini and past, but maybe an archaeologist, an anthropologist, along those lines, before I even knew what those names meant. But I felt the spark in kindergarten. I remember we performed a play. Can't remember what play it was, but I remember the play. And as soon as we took off our 2 small graduation caps, tukarusha hivi juu because we have a sea of kids. Unachikitu hizo macaps zikiflying, kasema, this is the feeling I want forever.
Yeah.
I don't want anything else. I want to present. I want to be at the center of presenting, like Apple, with my people, with whoever is going to be there. I want to present. A feeling has never left. It has been a consistent feeling ever since high school. Nothing. No sijui drama class, sijui nini club, nothing. Until Form 3, when I started going to music festivals, and I'm seeing like, there are other people who are doing this in high school. They are not just focusing on sijui chemistry, physics, nini nini, blah blah. There are people who are kneeling down wakisema peace. What is this? I want to do that, nataka kufanya hii kitu, nataka kwa kaule mse mwenye amekama hapa hivi akarap na kuna mse ameclap. I want that. Unajua like hiyo.
Yeah.
That's the one I want.
Yeah.
Not the one of building volcanoes that would be cool, but
Yeah.
You're more drawn to this thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So high school season, is it in Nairobi, out of Nairobi? Where are we?
Form 3 I was in Nairobi. I was at Malezi High School. Malezi High School iko Langata. And they didn't have a drama club either, but they had artists within the classes, like people who are super expressive and didn't self-edit. Now sendo mi nilikuwa na gravitate towards even Form 2 when I was at Rasul Al Akram along in Karen hapo opposite Mamba Village. We went, that's my first time going to a music festival. That's the place when I saw people kneeling, rapping, doing spoken word. And Izo, in front of you, Izo. I saw all those. Nikasema, this is drug.
Yeah.
This is what I want.
Yeah. And then Form 3, where do you go?
Form 3, Malezi. In Malezi kulikuwa na so many people who are exceptionally they were gifted in writing. They just didn't have the space to express it. So every dining hall, nini moments, lunch, dinners, sapas, hakuna dinner shule, ni sapa. Hizo moments zote, people were ciphering but writing. Unajua, like you're passing notes nini.
Yeah.
Buzz, mse, nothing about love,
It's buzz.
It's buzz. Like, mse uko hapo tu.
I'm sure ni buzz za mashida.
Ni buzz za mashida. Za uniform kupotea. Zilikuwa tu hizo. Those are the content in your soul kwa nabonga about. Mi niko hapo, man, I wish I could be gangster.
Yeah.
I wish I could say what 50 Cent says. Alafu huku at the back of my mind go like, do you want to be shot 9 times like him? Yeah, but that's the community building, the friendships nini. They make you feel at home. They made me feel at home. The friends, I say wherever meaning ngekuwa, they'd make me feel at home.
Yeah.
So kama ni artistic spaces, friends. Kama ni scientific spaces, friends. Evo, family, relatives, friends. And gravitating towards people who are creative.
Around this season, when is the first time now where you step forward? Is it in the ciphers? Ama is it like a year or two later? When are we finally having the spotlight on you?
I remember the first time I wrote a spoken word piece ilikuwa to my girlfriend in Form 3 because it was a mixed school. Nimetoka boarding school yenye si mixed all along in high school. Alafu pap!
Great time.
Form 3, I'm just seeing other sexes. Niko, wow. How do I relate? There's a friend of mine, God rest his soul in peace, Alan. He used to write easy pieces and bars, nini, long pieces, and then he just passed them out. Unajua, prep time ana pass out. And then my girlfriend at the time in Form 3, man, she was gifted in both like left and right brains. It's nothing that I'd ever seen before. She could write a spoken word piece up with kali and at the same time pass in math exams zote, mocks, KCSE, sijui nini, hizo zote ana pass. Chemistry pass, nini pass.
Mole concept,
she can tell you up with immediately. Maybe I liked her for the fact that alikuwa smarter than everyone. But yeah, alikuwa na receive hizo pieces and then she writes back immediately too, like a 1 page, 2 page, and then passes it back. Meaning like, you know what, I want to be in that circle, please. Even if si mimi ndo nitapendwa, nataka tu hapo hivyo nikue. So I started writing, listening to Kanan whenever I came back home. Ninatafuta everywhere, easy movie places, nini. And I think I was the only person who asked for Kanan albums. Kwa the movie spots in South Sea, in Syokimau. Kwa nasema nipe Kanan, nipe Lupe Fiasco, nipe Kanye West, nipe Common, na nipe 50 Cent. Au tu. Na spend almost kituka punch nikitoka hapo hivyo. But I'm happy as hell.
Yeah.
I know niko na ECD ya Kanan mse. Dusty Food Philosopher. Oh my God, I'm ready mse. Nili practice. Term ingine ika come through. Man, I was writing.
Yeah.
Nilikuwa namwandikia every night. I don't think I've ever done homework during prep time after that. Unajua every night shika. Soma hii. Tuoneka utachukua za Alan tena.
Also ilikuwa Alan ana do his thing na you do your thing.
But for Alan alikuwa he didn't have any interest. Alikuwa tu anaandika because he's gifted. So alikuwa ananispur on akifikiri umse ako passionate. Umse man ako na gift flani John is hard working at this thing. So he writes not at bar for bar but ile shika andika maliza hii shika. But I didn't know that he was unajua like cheering me on to write. And even after that we struck a really good friendship na Alan. So terms ikiisha niko high rise with Alan just writing. Like seriously tuko kwa mawe hapo nje, people are doing work nini but mimi na tuko tu hapo tunaandika.
Did you still have some of those pieces?
Man, that's the thing. I think organization habit yenye nilichukua from Buddha ili come after high school. Okay. So everything else nilikuwa tu, you know what, I can write.
Maybe your high school girlfriend still has them.
Maybe.
Na pia kuna assumption tunakimbia nayo. Did she like them?
Unajua za kwanza alikuwa anajua tu mzee amekopi Kenan mbaya because she's Somali, unajua. So like,
she would know.
Umekopi Kenan mse. But she never told me that. Unajua like akotu hii ni kali and then keeps them aside.
Anasoma. No like anasoma some old concept.
But exactly. but ilifika point where she started writing back. So that's when nikajua now it's on. So tuko sawa hapa basi. That's when I knew she liked the pieces. Maybe she wanted the originality to come through first.
And did you ever get did you get a chance in high school to perform any of these pieces or anything that you'd really written?
Only dining halls, dormitories, Sunday laundry days. Unajua hizo times too, because they didn't give us any platform to express ourselves in that way.
Okay, let's pick it from there. The next time, actually hata see the next time. Wacha niseme my first time kukuona ilikuwa basement ya National Theatre. So mi nimeingia nimekoliwa na mutual friend Manu. Ako iniaje, we need a replacement for someone, itabidi come through. Niko haven't set books, I haven't done this in a minute. Nilikuwa nimeteka gap, so tunaongea juu ya kitu ka 09 ama 2010 niko 29 niko
nakumbuka
man mimi sijisikii kutokea, so nikasema nitokee. Niko what is there to lose? Who's directing? Caroline Odongo. Sawa, I'll come through. Think it was her. So mimi nimeingia niko I don't think I will. Then I see this painting. Niko mko na ule dem. Manu anachua ako na sisi ana travel. Niko nice, ntadu nipatieni hizi roles. So I start checking this chick out, but every time I'm looking at her ameangalia mse mwingine. Niko eyes are on someone. Mse alikuwa Abu. Niko yeah, she clearly likes that guy. 2 days later Manu miss dhani nitadu kitu. But anyway I stuck around na I guess that is the first time to interact kajuana. So
that was not the best start.
For you. No, it worked okay. Kulikuwa na maze vitu zilikuwa zina to drive, God knows. But I nearly discover someone else. Nilikuwa and she's not looking at Abu, so I'll stick around someone else. But anyway, so in short, the time I met you.
Wait, are you talking about Nyawera?
Yeah, na vile nimetry kuzunguka around. Yo man,
shout out to Nyawera.
Why are we shouting out?
Because she was looking at Abu.
Anyway, maze. Now she'll know I like her bana. Wachani hizo bana. Or at least I like that version.
It's okay.
Anyway, any very interesting time of my life. Of our lives, bro.
Yeah.
Good times.
So that's the first time you guys meet, huh?
Yes. Nimekumbuka hadi Junior Mafia, bro. So back then when we started traveling, tulikuwa na mdosi alikuwa mtiaji kidogo, so tukiramble on the ground.
Usiseme mtiaji kidogo, alikuwa mtiaji kisana. Alichukua doze zetu zote manzi. Siwezi mforgive.
So ndio tubonge juu yake yako area, tulikuwa tunajita the Junior Mafia. Actually ilikuwa I guess mostly you guys. DJ Khalid, a skinnier version of DJ Khalid akitoshana na mimi. Your time alikuwa na click Junior Mafia.
Yeah.
I think hakuwa ameanza kusema with the best or something. Anyway, these are the things I remember. So my question is, between spoken word classroom and you starting out as an actor, what is the journey there and how long is that gap in between?
Let me see if I get the question right.
Yeah.
Between up, honestly, there's gaps that I can't even remember. There's blackouts. Because I can't remember anything that I didn't want to do so much other than art during that time. And since I didn't have the platforms to do it, and na nilikuwa mse naogopa sana tao, at that time we were living in Syokimau, hapo Kapa, where Gateway Mall is here in Naivas. Man nilikuwa naogopa tao. Syokimau, those times hakuna mse anajua anything about arts. Or they knew, but hiyo ni place, just a residential area and they don't entertain that. So there are gaps in between that I can't remember, to be honest. Even that question inakwanga hard sana for me to answer because it's really hard. It's really hard. I don't know what happened, but what I know for sure is 2009 I cleared KCSE exam jana, leo niko KNT. I didn't know how I got there. I didn't know what took me there, but nilikuwa KNT for the auditions where we met sasa. Nilimaliza tu hivi, nimerudi home, nikaeka bags, the next day, Tao, KNT. And I auditioned for Mwelusi na nikapata. Kifo Kisimani, that is. So, I knew I had the hunger, nilikuwa najua tu, there's something that's propelling me towards this place. I just didn't know what I would find there, why I'm going there, sijui nini, I just wanted to be there. Na nikajipata hapo amongst, I think Nick Ndeda was also there kwa kona fulani tu hapo. And there was a long line of people who were auditioning for Mwelusi. But thank God mazeni nikapata hiyo role.
And this is your first audition?
First audition ever.
Have you been on stage
Never
before?
I don't know anything about stage.
Acting.
Niliona tu stage when we went to see The River Between as Form 1. As a Form 1 nilienda KNT the first time, but I didn't know where KNT or what it looked like or kama niko hapo exactly, but nilienda hapo hivyo nikawatch River Between and that was it. Sold kabisa. Like, yes, this is it's reinforcing what I really want to do, and that's what I want to do.
So you knew of the National Theatre and people doing that by the time you were done?
I didn't know the National Theatre. I knew theatre.
Nilijua tu
kuna stage tu. Sikujua KNT, sikujua how to get there, how to access it, what matatu nipande matri gani. I didn't know any of that. I was green as ever. That's why, again, I don't like boarding school because your stuff ilikuwa any limit. I just knew route ya matri kwenda Tao, ilikuwa wapi, commercial ama wapi. Alafu za Kangema, kwenda Kangema High School when I was in Form 1 in Murang'a, alafu kurudi. That's the route nilikuwa najua. Every other route nilikuwa najua tu mimi naibiwa.
You did set books for a couple of months. Then the next time I heard of you was, he's storytelling now. Niko Majid, ni Abu. Niko Abu. Took me a minute, okay. Niko, who's Abu? So hata by the time na commit, by the time Niko Abu, it took me a minute because Niko, we, Junior Mafia bana. Ni aje? Nasi ati nasema ndio ulikuwa tuchu, hapana call me Abu, but I always remember people noticing, wako, no, that's Abu. So how do you get into storytelling? How does that, because I think you're among the first ones who like really went out with it. I remember very few from that season coming out as storytellers. Coming out sounds weird. Yes, but yeah, coming out as storytellers. What's the story around that? Do you discover guys doing it? Then you go, let me see more of that. Ama do you find again your tribe? Then mna realize this is the thing that is not there?
I think it's a mixture of so many things, because what we did kwa theater pia with Kifo Kisimani, that was storytelling to me. That's how I understood it. Until sasa nikaingia into spoken word spaces where nika perform up at Westlands Das Restaurant. I don't know if it was an Ethiopian restaurant, I think third floor up at Woodville. that's the first time I saw people just going on stage and not being animated and just saying a story. That I asked around, what are they doing? Spoken word. What is spoken word? Isn't every word spoken? Wakasema in pieces that people perform, and so it's called spoken word. It's an expression. I'm like, safi. Karudi home, nikaandika, nikasema mko hapa hivi when tena? Ajab. Na nikaandika na nikakam na piece.
Sorry. So was writing coming so naturally to you? Like, unajua the moment you say nikarudi home nikaandika. Unajua for a lot of people, including me most times, kuandika mazi kuandika. Aje sasa.
I think it came naturally because I felt, like maybe because, once you're teenage and early 20s, you have this propulsion force, yani, you want to express something. You don't know what it is, but you find so many words to express like a simple concept or a simple idea or an expression. I don't know if you ever felt it, Mato, but that's how I felt it. I used to go home nandika an entire piece about sleeping, and then the following morning niko like, staki, scrap it off, and then another one. Evil, like, it's just, I felt like the world was my oyster. Unajua, like, there's so much to do, so much to say, so much to and I wanted to write every time. And so I had your force in me ya kuandika all the time, ya kuandika. And if I saw someone doing it live, ako hapa nini, and he's doing it and wanaji express and they're saying things that immediately just resonate with me, I want to do the same. So with my first encounter in a Dar's restaurant, actually, let me backtrack, because I met a guy called Akil Ahmed. Akil Ahmed is my brother. Umsendo alikuwa caretaker wangu nikikuwa form 2. And he's the type of person mwenye akona the same propulsion that I have. Like, I have so much to say, but so little time. So immediately we struck a brotherhood. Nico like, wow, teach me, show me the way, whatever you say me nafanya. So he used to write pia, like, alafu he was in the culture sasa yake ndo alianza kupick up this maybe it's American culture, but it's still culture nonetheless. His favorite rapper was Lil Wayne. Alikuwa kwa basketball squad ya shule. He used to be in all music festivals. Alikuwa anajua wase South Sea. I think at some point wanaishi proximity yake na where Isa ilikuwa just hapo. Unajua, like, he knew the culture. Alikuwa anajua hizo vitu. Mimi sikuwa najua anything. Naishi sio Kimau manze, sijui hata Isa ni nani. To be honest, mimi nilianza kusikia Isa sasa ile wasi anaanza kusema kwa ma3, Isa, ndo hapo sasa nikashika jina. Okay, mse anaitwa Isa. Bas, that's all I knew. Sijui Nameless. Mse anaitwa Nameless. Ajab. That's it. Nikaanza watch the beat stand, nikaanza put faces to these guys, sasa jua Calif, the Nanis, nini K-Rapt. Hadi kuna time niko na watch beat niko like, nimemetu mse jua Kali bana. Mse kwa hapa sijui. To me, at that time, nikimit, like, he's another guy. I didn't know he's a legend in the making. Unajua, like, I didn't know that this guy is such a powerful force in the Kenyan industry. He's another guy. Anyway, long story short, Akil is the one who got me into I call, like, you have a skill, you can write immediately on the spot. Andika, enda Dar's restaurant. Nendo alinipeleka huko for the first time. So this guy is the, like, centerpiece to all my artistry ya kusema, you know what? I really want to push it forward sasa. Let me go out and do stuff. Because Akil was always, tunaandika hapo hivyo immediately, and we are spitting bars to each other. We are spitting bars to each other. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
Yeah. So if you're following the story, shout out to Alan. Shout out to Abu's girlfriend in high school. Amal. Yeah. Shout out to Akil.
Yeah.
Then shout out to Nyawira.
But if we're shouting out, to shout out kila mtu
basi. Might as well. Manu, Kigondu, Juma, look at that. Yeah.
Wase wengi, maze hiyo squad tulikuwa wase wengi sana. Yeah.
So do you remember, so Das, how was that experience? This is your first time, so you've done Welusi, you've performed, you've done Kifo Kisimani, but so this is your first time actually telling your own story, your own words.
Yeah.
Do you remember that experience? How can you describe it?
I remember choking on stage. Na kumbuka because people were coming. There's a guy, an Afro guy, I think he's Burundi or something, tall, and Pepe Hayes. I don't know if
Pepe Hayes, yeah.
umesikia jina?
Sounds familiar.
My god, umse alikuwa MC wingine mnoma sana. Like he's just naturally comes with up na bars to like he's freestyling nini and it's just going all over and like what? Mimi niko na piece of paper hapa. Umse doesn't have shit in his hands and he's going off. Nakumbuka Akil stepping on stage pia like performing nini like hey guy. Umse hii piece hajanisomea. We didn't go back and forth with this piece and I stepped up on stage and choked. But that was a good learning curve. Unajua nile you're choking in front of people who are actually there to listen to your words. And that was the scariest part. Even right now doing intimate shows is really scary to me because people are actually listening. Unajua hakuna distracting noises hapa, mse ame cough pale, sijui mse ame sneeze and it's just
right here.
What are you saying? So I choked the first time. But Das Restaurant mazes, it was like walking into a steam room. Hiyo place ilikuwa imejaa wase, anjera everywhere. Alafu unajua like people were just cooked up in that space. Wako tu like man, tumetoka Dandora nini wacha to come to spit. Na ilikuwa amazing. Like you're talking to someone from Dandora hapa hivi mwenye hata like sababu mimi nilikuwa siko exposed hivyo. Nilikuwa tu sio Kimau na South Sea. That's it. So mse wa Dandora ananichapia story manze nimesikiza and it's interesting as hell. Niko like wow man, I didn't know we could relate instantly hivyo. Mse fulani amekaa kina Kunimbichi anaitwa nani mse nimesahau majina za wase at this point, but yeah, the spoken word community just embraces you in the sense that you feel that you have something to say, umeandika enda rudi hapo stage maze useme hivyo. So every time na choke mse ananirudisha, every time tear drops, every time na choke rudi hapo hivyo mse sema hiyo kitu ulikuwa unaenda kusema, every time hivyo tu. So with time nikaanza kuform familiarity with people. Even Das Restaurant became my friend. The entire institution, your building, it became a friendly place to me to express. After that niwe kabisa like I'm writing na kama even kama nimeandika on the way up hivyo kama 3 na kama tunaisoma na wasako like najua the spoken word thing imeanza kukua dissed a lot and it's funny as hell, but snapping the fingers it's funny as hell when people make fun of it. But yeah, that's the comfort that I got from the community. So in terms of storytelling, I can do this in every art form that I choose to pursue. Even coming up with the stage shows nini, I just said this is the same thing in Tafanya, maybe taking it higher, a notch higher, a notch higher.
Okay, let's take it to Das Bado. Are you thinking money? Are we getting paid? Do we have bills to stress about?
I was paying to enter Das. I was paying to perform. Like 500 bob to perform. Alafu like I had to budget from home. Niko like, niko na sosaba. Shit. Itawakaje. So nikifika, we have to talk to the person up hivyo. And then Pepe Hayes and Monaja.
Now I remember Pepe Hayes. Mimi nilikuwa mwita Haze. He was on sugar.
Exactly. Exactly. And then Monaja came up with Nairobi's Finest, that the show, the platform. No artist paid. Nico like, man, this is revolutionary. Silipi? Acha ujinga mzee. Akasema lakini ukiingia ndani si ati unakula vitu free, unalipia food, unalipia hii, unalipia hii. Like haina shida. Tutakula McFries huku chini na tukuje juu.
Tukam tumeshiba.
Na tuna perform.
But in terms of the hustle, are you thinking, man, I need to start paying bills? I need to start. Ama is there hakuna pressure?
I thought financially about the arts mimi nilianza kufikiria maybe when I got into Scanad.
Okay.
Yeah, when I got into agency, that's even then ilikuwa just pity party about it because I felt like it's a free thing I have to offer. Like this is my gift I'm giving you. Unajua, you don't have to give me anything back. If I want something, I accept it. But sikuwa nafikiria ati man hii kitu itanilipa siku fulani. I never ever thought about it, to be sincere.
So the satisfaction was coming from the giving itself.
Giving and sharing stage with people that I felt, oh my God, these are my peers. Hao sio wamenikubali. Like I belong somewhere.
it's a reward by itself. Sorry to take you back, but I was listening to the episode with Mary Oliver, and I have to admit that one of the common themes of all our guests, which I'm finding extremely mind-blowing, is how well most of them knew what they wanted to be very early on, which is something I've struggled with, right? Like Abu here was you had that clarity of mind about what you're good at, what your skill is, what you are here to offer the world, and haukuwa 93 different 10 different things that you're juggling. I'm thinking about. You're very clear on that.
I was clear on that, but there were things that I was juggling.
That's okay. You're juggling things, but you're very clear on this one thing.
Yes.
It's the same thing with Mary Olive and so many other of our guests, yeah? And admittedly, that's something that I have struggled with. Because I tend to, like I dabble in so many things. But Jeskia, to be honest, that spark it. Yeah, this is the one thing. But maybe podcasting is it. I am a good data scientist. Doesn't mean that. I felt that sparks at some point. I loved math, maybe. But to some extent, I actually not to some extent, I really, really admire that. And I wish that for everyone, to be honest. Yeah.
Way earlier in their lives.
Way early in their lives. And maybe hopefully it comes naturally. Like Abu for you. You didn't do anything, right? You it just hit you. Like boom. Even you at some point it hit you. You've spoken about this, right? Me, haijanigonga. Najua. And I wish that kila mtu itamgonga too, because I think then you don't spend too much time searching.
Maybe I've glossed it out and polished it vizuri, the story, because
I forget you're a storyteller.
I did have moments of searching. Actually, I still have it right now. The reason why sijaingia studio since 2019 to record anything really is because I'm still searching, like, what's the voice, what's the message, what's the substance nasema, like why am I doing this? What's the thing? Even for acting it was the same thing. When I saw Matona Manu kwa stage wakiperform pamoja, like there was this chemistry that these two have that I don't think mimi nimecheki ever since. So no, to be honest, because I saw you guys having this chemistry, it was almost like completing each other's sentences. I know it was rehearsed, but at the same time, like there's this certain level unaona msee akiperform with each other, like, hey man, kwani yasa kona rehearsal after rehearsal? Because it's like they know key body language features, unajua kutu hapo hivyo, like you're capturing each other's chemistry and wavelengths. And so that's the thing I mean nimekuwa tu nikitafuta. Even
that makes me a bit jealous. I thought Mato ilikuwa hiyo ndaye.
Oops. Yeah, about that.
Oops.
Anyway.
Sorry, go on, Abu.
But yeah, it's a level of chemistry kupata and substance and what you have to say.
Yeah.
Because I know that's why niko na so much intimidation from intimate spaces, because people are actually listening to you. And to me, I was telling my girlfriend the other day, when someone amejitolea kukaa na mimi, like even just having a conversation or something or meeting or doing this, I start thinking about where they came from. Like mse ameamka, ameoga, ameplan siku yake nini kuspend with me, not for me but with me. There's something I have to give back. Unajua, if it's not my attention, it's probably something else. Unajua, like I have to nijitolea hata mimi the same way this other person amejitolea. So that's how I think about audiences. But it was detrimental to a point because I started writing for the audience and not about.
But Abu, don't you think that that's another level? The first level I'm talking about is there's a broad thematic area. So like for you, even if you're searching, and I think most people are, irrespective of whether they found the broad area or not. So, okay. So for you, found the arts.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
And I admittedly also searching, 100% you're searching for that voice and for more details, fine-tuning the specific areas within the arts. But you're clear.
Yes.
You're an artist.
Yeah.
I mean, same with Mato. You're clear. You're an artist.
Yeah.
Yeah? Even at that broader level, a lot of people are still searching.
Yeah.
Am I an artist? Am I a mathematician? What am I?
The whole radarless concept, at least ikuna. Okay.
But I have a question for you, Mato.
Yeah.
Like, how long did it take you, or did it ever take you time for you to embrace the title artist?
Artist. Yangu itakuwa short answer, man. I've had the privilege of having a parent who's a poet. Yeah.
Dope.
So, and she was a phenomenal actor. In fact, maybe I'll say it in this episode. My dream by my next birthday is to have written something for me and my mom to both be on stage for.
Amazing.
Am I in the same frame for? That is my prayer, and I pray it works. So yeah, alijua quite early, I guess, even before she birthed me. She had taken a different route into the arts. Then I came and it's a blessing. I'm just saying trajectory ya kule alikuwa nayo ataenda ikakua. So she was very open to this kid being different from the others. So I started doing poetry very early. Nakumbukanga class 2 nini. But it's not my episode. Hiyo nitapeana episode yangu. All I'm saying is I had the privilege of being cushioned by artists. My stepfather is a poet as well. So I had 2 teachers and 2 poets guiding me throughout. So from class 2 to my last show, I don't know, a week, 2 weeks ago, they've come to 90% of my stuff. That means niliambio very early. No, do you. Hata mid high school nikiwa F school, nilikuwa man, bado ulikuwa unaona, bado hata kaa ulidunda pepe ya mwisho wako, what is going on? Wakisikia na show ziko sijui KICC watakam, ninasema poem ya kikale, niko hapo kimnyet wo tit nage mnyone naangalia audience niko, oh shit, those are my parents right there. So for me it's slightly different, which na appreciate sana your privilege. So yeah.
I did not know this.
You didn't know this?
No. I know I've always seen your mom and your pops at your shows, and I was like, okay, this is amazing support.
Yeah.
But I did not know the story behind it.
Oh man, I
knew there were teachers and your mom is an English teacher as well.
Yeah.
I knew that part, but the part of her being an artist.
Yo, bro, mi school fees yangu imelipwa na poetry.
Yeah.
What?
True story. Like, wacha ni wa shout out. So shout out Anastasia Kigondu na Felix Karaoke. So I'm sure a lot of kids around the country imeandikwa na Felix Karaoke ama written by Anastasia Wanjiru.
Oh,
shout out.
Yeah, so they've done a lot around the poetry circles, particularly for Kenya music festivals.
Yo.
So yeah, so that
why
question
do you
for
ask
me is
that, Abu?
different.
Because I feel ningekuwa na more confidence embracing the title artist from a very young age, because I thought I was weird, to be honest. That's why I tried to pivot na hizi stories, searching for piloting and going to piloting school, going to learn about peace and conflict management at African Nazarene University, going to USIU and trying to do international relations and becoming a diplomat or something like that. You're gonna feel those were the revered titles, and those are the ones that inafanya nikwe embraced even as a person in my family, in my circles, in nini. And so I feel if I had my parent coming to watch from an early age, sure I would have, maybe this is the trajectory that I'm supposed to be on, but I feel I would have been farther ahead or even more confident and grounded as an artist and embracing that title. Yeah.
But here we are.
Yeah, we are.
And you're doing well.
Celebrating you, man.
Yeah.
Hey, Maze, a couple of things come up for me. So the first one ilikuwa around the money. Alafu iyo tukaisort in Astoria. Agency comes in later. So
which is interesting. There's a transition to money, but yes.
There's a transition to money. So Abu is now being known as mostly as a poet with time spoken word. Hata naona nika watu wamesahau Abu ni actor. Niko umse alikuwa actor. So the next time nasikia Abu ni too early for birds. Yeah. And ningependa connect na something you said about chemistry yangu na Manu, which na appreciate sana. Na yangu na Kamande.
Usifeel left out.
But we now come to know and revere and celebrate too early for birds. Yeah. And there's yourself and Gatia. So there's a story there. There has to be a story there. So how long after Das do we get to meeting Gatia and to thinking of this whole too early for birds concept?
Gatia and I met at Das restaurant because that's the central point your artists could come through. Filmmakers were there. Script writers were there. guys were there. Unajua, like it was just a bubbling, boiling hot pot of artists who are congregating. So Ngati and I met there, but we never struck a conversation per se. Unajua, like he saw me on stage, and it was the same effect that mi nilikuwa nayo when I saw the Pepe Hazes doing it, the Monajas doing it. I'm specified. Yeah, I'm specified. I think that's the stage name. Yes, doing it. So that's the same effect we nearly have on Ngati appear, amongst other so many people. But we ended up Akil, who went by the stage name El Poet, apenangi Ojina because he's dropped it, but El Poet started an agency.
Okay.
Him and Samo, and they're all poets. I'll say Samo, he went by Samo the Almighty. Incredible human
I like
being.
that name.
Unajua, like Umse was just speaking about some chemical physics, celestial things, wasako tu. What?
Alikuwa Riza.
Riza. We have a story on Wu-Tang. Make a note on that.
Noted.
Yes, so
Yes.
Samo
El Poet.
and El Poet started an agency called Alternative Agency. It transitioned to Alternative, and then they started hiring people. Like hii ilikuwa agency being done in cafes hapa Pronto Cafe in Tao, Standard Street. Tulikuwa tunaifanyia at Caldis pia hapo Nation House. Like it was a moving agency because there wasn't space or money or resources or even clients. So wakaanza recruit tu watu, and like you recruit from a pool of people that you're comfortable with, and most of them comprised of poets. So agency yao ilikuwa na poets wengi sana, like mse ametoka huku pale nini, and we were writing copy. We didn't have any lessons on agency or something. Samo left his job at Google to come and form this thing with Akil. And as more poets came in, I was hired, and then Ngati pia akakuwa hired. And that's when we now started really talking about things. Unajua, like, hey man, una performing ajab hata wewe bas. And then as days go on, yo, can you write a piece about nini? Write a copy about this. Maybe let's transition to to write a copy about the Crips of Urban Bites. The Crips.
Oh, Cribas. Nilikuwa nimeenda gangs. Tell me more.
Bro. But Urban Bites squad, mi ndo nilikuwa na handle account na Ngatia. And then, once we start trading ideas, we go like, man, you are weird as hell, friend. I like it. Wah. We umechizi. Hivo tu. Hizo ma comments zikaanza ku transition from umechizi tu. Yo, niko na hii idea, hebu cheki. And then nika transition to somewhere else. Nikaenda back to, I think, Creative Age iko hapa pia. And then now I got hired. Like I quit the agency job because I didn't know what I was doing, to be honest. Because when I feel sina purpose somewhere or direction, the momentum gets killed. So nikaacha job. For 7 months, man, nilikuwa na tamak, nilikuwa nafungiwa maji because sijalipa bill, naenda juu, nafungua na spana nini, alafu narudi. Mi niko sawa. Wanazima stima, naenda huko hivyo kwa main switch barabara, niaje, hebu nipandishe hapa hivyo, alafu tosha. Ilikuwa amazing. To me, that was
lessons from 50 cents.
My God. Survive. Unajua, uko na hiyo nini, survive. Anyway, I got hired at Scanad for a year long. Ngati akakuwa hired, I think maybe 2 months after. And for a year long, we shared the space pamoja. Now, ilikuwa like, say,
umechizi.
Okay. It's like we're destined to be in the same poetic, artistic, creative spaces. Unapendanga nini? Hivyo tu, hizo conversations zilianza tu hivyo. And then, even when we were being thrown under the bus, ilikuwa, Ngatia, Abu, come. Shit. Mnajua tu mna dedi pamoja. So you're being in the trenches pamoja all the time. You share frustrations, you share dreams, and you share the vision for future pamoja. Like you actually see what he sees what I see. And we transitioned into reading about history. Na he's a history buff. He likes history. Like to him information is just stored huko hivi in from floppy disk all the way to now, like whatever it is, streaming services ziko kwa akili yake. And so he tells you stories uko like, what, kulikuwa na zebra Nairobi, as in msiana gallop on zebra as his means of transport. That's a story, tuandike hivyo, we note it. What, kulikuwa na 2000 people wamebaki hapa hivi Harithuku roads na yenye na lead to KNT. Why? Because they came to free Harithuku. What? Andika. What? Kulikuwa sijui na Bukusu forts nika hizo Game of Thrones stuff yenye tunachekingi, they were resisting the colonial powers in nini. What? Andika. And it became too evil, like taking interest to evil. And then we landed on Owa's blog. My God, akili zetu zilikuwa zina cheesy. We went to work to access Owa's blog. Easy stories zote siji brands nini. We'll do it at night since tunakufa anyway. We'll do it at night. And it transitioned to building your chemistry. Man, there's so many stories that need to be told. Even I want to put my own stories in the back burner and just tell easy stories because they make me feel good. Naangalia other Africans doing awesome things and go like, wow, yeah, I want to tell this story. I want to contribute to their excellence by telling their story. So let's do it. And that's when Twali for Birds was born.
Okay.
Ilikuwa born for a year long. Every time we shared a cubicle, me na Ngatia. Like literally I could just peep over and tell him, man, kitu nimesoma leo asubuhi. Bro, hii kitu itakushangaza. Ni ile stories juu nini hivyo. And it was a chemistry of now, even the style ya Twali for Birds, the structure of it, ni kama mnakaa kwa mawe mahali and people are telling you stories. Or even just people contributing to that story. And so that's the structure at Twali for Birds, and that's how it came to be.
Yeah. Speak more about, if you've talked about the structure and how it came to be, but let's be a bit more, let's take it a bit more concrete. Yeah, the ideation process. At what point do you move from easy story tunaambiana, write them down, to now this is actually something that you can put on stage.
Let's book space.
This is where money comes in.
Okay.
Because we realized we were handling a lot of accounts, big accounts. You know, I'll name them. What's the nini? Because Ziko on record, Guinness, Trust Condom, and the entire PSI or PSK? PSI. We were handling Smirnoff. Ngati alikuwa na handle Weetabix. Like between us, I think we had 12 accounts that we were handling. And most of the ideas that we were giving, ilikuwa, we are taking it from these notes that we are putting aside. Unajua, saying that, hey, this would be cool to tell hapa, this would be cool to tell pale, this would be cool to tell hapa hivi. You know, bringing it to the Kenyan essence. At least something that we can relate to. But they were all shut down. Unajua, every time tunaenda, like your frustration built up, and then we're like, man, we're handling 12 accounts, na ido haitoshi, man. I don't know where my money goes at the end of the month, because after the first week of being paid, it's just all gone. I don't have expenses that much. What am I spending this money on? Yeah, I make sense to me. Like, it's not bringing anything else. So we thought, you know, like we could probably stay in agency and invest our salaries into a show that sees not akusema, because we were writing that show while in agency. You know, hizo notes, there were shows, there were scenes from the show that we did, and you know, agency takes 99% of your time. On a Sunday morning, umekaa tu umerelax, usema, wow, thank God, man, niko na Sunday. Kring, kuna skamish hapa, sijui kuna situation pale, kuna emergency hapa, kuna nini, like it takes so much. So it took so much of our time and money, and we never enjoyed that. What we decided ilikuwa, you know what, let's transition from this agency life and just risk it. What the hell, fuck it. And so we said fuck it and quit our jobs. And I was 24, Ngati I think I got 21 or 22, 21. Na tukatoka agency tu hivyo. Like, yodo ilikuwa poa. But we saved up for, I think, maybe 3 months. I saved up for 3 months, Ngati 4, and put that money together and started building a team. We did not know what the hell we were doing, what the structure is, what if people would uptake the stories, because at that time people were transitioning. Kulikuwa bado na Inspector Mwala that was hitting the airwaves. Kulikuwa na something else, Mali ama nini, ilikuwa inaitwa Mali ama on TV that people were always watching. We tried to shop easy ideas around, and thank God for Gadhoni Kimuyu, because she came through and said, you know what guys, Citizen have opened up for scripts and actually for pilots. Let's shoot a pilot. Whatever idea you guys give me, I'll fund it, and then we'll go. She funded a pilot that was meant, actually that's the first Too Early for Birds. It's called City Series. A show about defining the history of Nairobi based on the city names huko hivi, because we don't know. Mi nikikwambia kama mtao nakwambia kama endem, nikienda sijui wapi kama afya, niko afya, but we just don't know Izima streets, why they were named, how they were named, what's the history behind that. And so we started writing based on that. That's where the Dr. Ribeiro na Zebra came through, like alikuwa hapo hivyo. That's how we found out how Jivanji Gardens came about, and how Jivanji was the first millionaire in this our Nairobi. Unajua, and easy stories because na to interest sana, kwa like, man, how do you just come to another country, umekam ku build really, and you end up being a millionaire? How does that transition happen? Unajua, like what makes someone say, since we railway na pass hapa hivi, let's build a town, let's call it Nairobi. Why? And we made that pilot series. It's still there. I don't think we've ever given it out, but it's 5 minutes long of just a magazine show, which is amazing. Even right now, it is a hit. Gadhoni,
can we watch it?
I mean, privately, yes.
Yeah, privately. Yeah.
Privately, yes.
Yeah.
I'll be happy to show you. So she funded that. Alafu tukashop around in TV stations, and they were telling us, maybe Kenyans are not ready for this. Maybe this content is too conk. Like, what do you mean? The same Kenyans when you wanna watch Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
The same Kenyans when you wanna watch 24, the series.
Yeah.
The same Kenyans.
Yeah.
When you wanna watch Scandal, wanna ketiena pevi na shows zingine kali like
Oz.
Oz.
Yeah.
But Oz ni recent. But your time still.
Oz is it's actually among the first 3 big series like, for HBO.
Well,
from back in the day.
Alright. The same Kenyans walikuwa watch The Twilight Zone. Ndo wataget hizi vitu. Sema sawa, ina noma. Kapeleka stage. And we called it Too Early for Birds. Because based on Owa's blog, the first name that he had for his blog before Owa ilikuwa Too Late for Worms. I don't know why he called it that. We've never gotten an answer. We've never persisted or insisted in getting an answer. But let's turn it around and say Too Early for Birds. And now we ran with it.
Bro. I think the biggest thing, despite having like great talent and great minds behind it and great stories from history, I think to me a despite, but whatever. I think the biggest thing that Too Early for Birds did was showing us that we can pack theaters and sell out shows. So is it the guys who've done a lot of agency work, sasa wanajua how the human brain thinks around marketing? Is that where you borrow from to sell this out? Ama what's the strategy behind the marketing?
Absolutely. Ilikuwa all agency. All the PowerPoints to make for the brands, the big brands that turn those down, we use the exact mechanics and the exact language to sell out the shows, to pack the theater spaces. Because we have to prove it to someone, at least, that even if it's ourselves, to see wawili to me nangatia, that these easy PowerPoints to spend up AV, like literally dying in offices and boardrooms and getting into trouble for them, can actually work.
Yeah.
Something has to give. So we took the same concept, the same PowerPoints, tukaeka into theater, and it worked marvelously.
Yeah.
So people are hungry for content. It's the same thing Steve Jobs alikuwa anaambia wase, like, people don't know what they want until you give it to them. So that's what tulikuwa tunasema kwa boardrooms, unaangalia okay, nyinyi mmekama hapa hivi na company kasi tuna drive ma Benzes, ma BMWs, nini, we know. Like, it's okay, it's cool. Bado si drive ma Benzes na BMWs, but still we proved that it could work.
Yeah. And it did, and it's still giving. It's given birth to so many artists and so many different concepts, man.
I get all my jobs squeezy from 12 for Birds. That's what, 6 years ago. All my jobs, people come to me and go like, yo man, nilicheki 12 for Birds ya gani ya 2017. What?
Yeah.
Unaweza do hii stuff. Unaweza. And then you go like, man, this stuff.
Yeah.
Like it's everlasting. Well, everlasting in this time frame, but still, like I'm saying, a reference 2017.
That's beautiful, man.
For something that they need me to do now.
Yeah.
Even kina Gadhoni, kina Njagi, kina Tony, Masido, Ngatia, the crew now that form the company that 12 for Birds falls under, Story Zetu. That's the name of the company. They still get jobs from 12 for Birds.
Courtesy of that. Yeah.
You're like, man, this is crazy.
It's everlasting. Just like Outcast, bro.
Man,
No cheki.
you know, like hiyo ndo ilikuwa language yetu ya marketing when we went to radio the first time. I was nervous as hell. Alafu I don't know why radio folks keep ACs on all the time. Mimi nilikuwa na shiva mbaya. So my voice was even unajua ilikuwa tu hiyo the entire time.
Kenya National Theatre.
Exactly. But
good.
yeah, that's the language we use for like we are Outcast.
Yeah.
Big Boy and
Hey, look
Andre
at that.
ni sisi.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, kulikuwa na story ya Wu-Tang. Kabla
Yeah,
to move from this
Before we
season.
move on,
Let's go to
Man,
that.
I need to shake your hand. Thank you so much for getting me into Wu-Tang.
Yeah.
Siku hapa hivi ulinishow tu Abu Wu-Tang. Skiza wasi.
Yeah.
I have been listening to them, but ile like, man, this music is so rowdy and street, man. I don't think ni yangu. Nimecheki Wu-Tang An American Saga the series
Finally.
on Hulu.
Yeah.
Wow. I am obsessed with every member of Wu-Tang. Like, say they're speaking about love in the most gangster way, yani, with the gruffest voice. Wanabonga about hugging their mom. Jesus.
Yeah.
Yes, more please.
Yeah.
Yeah, but thank you so much. I think their story is wonderful. And Neo, like, they showed the world and every other person that a collective can work so long as you have the chemistry and build upon the chemistry. And also just resolve your conflicts, because siati unaweza avoid. There's no way. So if once you resolve your conflicts by being in the same spot and consistently, actively, voluntarily work towards that, you can achieve anything. And that's... Thank you, Manze. Nilikuwa na watch your series and go like, Mato will be proud.
Yeah. I am proud, man. Wu-Tang is forever, man.
Wu-Tang is for kids.
Underlying all these transitions from DAS to, alternative to Scanad and to Early for Birds, I think there is a very clear story of Busy Being Born, right? And so let's just take a minute to maybe put a pin on some of the lessons. Right? Yeah. So from the Scanner days, this was like a proper corporate job, with all the pressure and everything. Other than all the PowerPoints and all the creative angles that you took from that phase of your life into Too Early for Birds, as a person, as a book, were there any lessons, any changes, any affirmations, any new ways of looking at life that you hadn't experienced before, but this season taught you?
Scanner taught me that time is a precious commodity. Like, there's no other way that unaweza tumia time if not effectively and efficiently. Like, you need to use your time as a resource. That's what Scanner taught me. Because as most creatives, especially me, I would take like 50 years to write something now. See, I'm not the same Abu as back then where I could just write on the spot. Maybe you can attest to this, Mato, but I take a long time to write. The information that nimekuwa nayo, unajua, like I'm self-editing a lot, because you still, however age you are, whatever age you are, you still want to belong somewhere. And so your belonging maybe sometimes pushes you to self-edit a lot or do this or do that. Scanned, there wasn't time for that. Ilikuwa just, we need this now. Dunia inaisha kesho. Bas, like, dunia is where? This is your path to, you want to go to heaven, sindio? This is it. Andika and you're going to heaven. So it taught me the essence of time. And also, it related to me because at that point, by the time I'm getting to Scanad, I had a fear of time. Like, I felt like I don't have enough time here on earth to do all the things that I want to do. And it gave me so much anxiety. But Scanner taught me to use that anxiety to my advantage. And so that's the one thing that ilinifunza your place. Yeah, I'm very grateful for that lesson, because now whenever I feel like I need to procrastinate in nini, it comes back. It's like a muscle memory. Go to we boss, unaweza anguka sahi.
Do it.
Fanye kitu.
Yeah. Love it.
Yeah.
Hey, so juggling, lessons, picking all this. Paliuko saizi. We're seeing you on telly. Amebambika sana na job yako maze on Country Queen.
Country Queen, man.
Maze nakumbuka that day you watched it, the first hata hakuna salamu bro. The thing, ile scene wewe na nice ile scene.
Let me tell you, the first time we watched it, nilipigia Abu simu. I called you.
Yeah, you called.
Yeah, I did. My wife and I have really enjoyed that show. I mean, it's one of those things where, and you know this, Mato, of course. I'm a big fan of my friends. I'm a big fan of people who are doing great things, but I think there's another level. I'm a big fan of my friends. I'm proud. Maybe it's a bit of an egotistical thing. I'm proud of you guys and whoever else who I know who's doing great things. I feel he's happy. Najua. Now, for some reason, I feel like my happiness is also really hinged to the happiness of those around me. Sindio? So nikiona Abu mazee anang'ara, Abu mazee anaikila hapo bana. Na kiaga mazee alip, asari nilip, nikiona matu on stage bana, niko like, man. Na jule msee. Unajua? So when I watched that Country Queen thing, hey, my wife and I tulibambika that day. Maka to date, whenever my wife sees Abu, she always recounts that scene.
No spoilers.
This guy in Tracy called me.
Tracy is my wife.
And then I call like, Abu, fanya ile kitu. Fanya ile kitu ulifanya kwa scene. Fanya ile. Alafu kwa mina recording session, so me every time commander akikola you niko like, hey, this is serious. Niaje bro. Fanya ile kitu. Kukumbuka man kuna edit sijatuma ama nini. Ile kitu ulifanya na nice kwa scene. Kwenda.
So did you do it?
I didn't. Imagine niko hapa hivi peke yangu, my neighbors wakisikia tu.
Yo bro.
Alafu Tracy yako huko nyuma na kutoka ready tu kusikia.
Maybe it might be a thing you journey with. Utakuwa unaingia mandege wako ni ule msewa.
Ni ule msewa.
So how do you juggle? How do you do your on sets? Tukikama hapa maze sound check, maze doing your deadlines, una gigs zingine unashikanisha. How do you get to having your muscle being that dope?
Manze back end work is a lot, you know. What we did today with Grace hapa hivi like is exactly what I do on a daily basis.
Yeah.
But before guests sasa wafike into the space, I make sure that I really want people who are as comfortable as possible. I know you guys are for top quality. That's, unajua, like I feed off of that. Because you want things to be like hapo, snappy. Let's move. So when I see people who I can relate to, najua, Matu akifika hapa hivi atahitaji chai, Grace akifika hapa hivi atahitaji cable na nini, Jackie akifika hapa hivi atahitaji kufunguliwa chini. Hivyo, najua tu, like I need to be on top of my game, because wase, like I said, I think about wase, umse amejitolea. Ametoka hii place kukam hapa, and it's the same thing I do for sets. Najua umse wherever ametoka, labda ataja have your transition period, the gaffer aja have transition period between one set and the next, na niko sure amechoka, and probably they want to rest, but amejitolea kukam hapa hivi. The makeup artist amejitolea kukam hapa hivi. The producer amejitolea kukuja hapa hivi. I know that us wamejitolea, and I have to match them. So that's the same energy mina wapatia. Even on set, I try to give that as to the level, to the best knowing of my capabilities. Sometimes hata musaidia wase kupack vitu. Like wananiambia, yo, we ni talent, achana na hizi vitu. Unajua ukiumia ni sisi ni new blank. Like, taumiaje nikibeba hii
What if sitaumia?
Sandbag. Unajua, ni sandbag. Like, achana nayo. Asante Abu. But, asante ya? Just jabeba, like wacha ni, and then it becomes like it's another thing, forming friendships wherever I go, kwa sababu nataka kufeel umse akona mse hapo, like someone has his back, someone has her back, hivyo
Isn't
nataka
that what
tu-
we all want?
Yeah.
I think it's a very essential thing for me being an artist, because I want to know someone has my back. And in other spaces, you wouldn't see me being talkative hivi. Hata when I get in front of cameras, I'm nervous. In front of microphones, I'm nervous. But hapa, like, it's just free flowing.
Yeah. Have you felt that recently, where you are in a space where you felt people around me don't have my back?
Yeah, recently nimekuwa work-wise no, but expression-wise as a person, yes. Because I find myself in spaces where people wanna critique a lot the weirdness of an artist, you know? Like there's a process, obviously, a creative wanapitia. But once niko like, hey, unatumia too many words kujibu hii swali. I start self-editing na pulling back. Oh, hey man, mbona umevaa hiyo shati? Oh, hii suruali, mbona umedunga hivyo? Unajua, like, I start pulling back. Because niko like, I have to start explaining the weird and I don't know. Sijui ina happeningi tu.
Yeah.
Like, it's my taste to wear this kikoi trouser. But nikipata wase wenye I have to explain the weird, then it becomes
Slightly
So I was saying, Abu, I want to push back a bit on that. I feel like in terms of how I've known you for the last 2 or so years, right? Which has been a great honor to know you. I'll say this, that you mean a lot to me as a human being and as a friend, yeah? And you're very authentic and you are very lovely just the way you are. I think all of us are, right? We are flowers in our own way in this garden of life, right? And I know sometimes it's hard because people come with their own prejudices, their own preconceived notions about how everyone should live their life, go about their life. And sometimes that poses a challenge. But I think that maybe you should step back and not feel this need to explain why it is that you are the way you are.
I hear you, man. Thank you so much for that. It stems from wanting to be somewhere, like in my childhood, as much as I have family all over in different households, I still felt the need to reintroduce myself, restructure the thinking that I had from that household to now this one. And it feels like that even with people whenever I encounter or say, I don't act a certain way or a different way. I just try to mold myself into something that gets the other person comfortable. So kama hiyo concept ya, hey man, unatumia words mob sana kuexplain hii question, you're like, you know what, maybe let me cut down on the words, so probably you can be comfortable receiving and I can reach to you and we can connect. That's the need. Not at I need to impress you or something. Even if it's an answer that is not something palatable to the other person, I'll still cut down on the words and say it straightforward. But knowing that, okay, I've accommodated the need of this other person to not hearing so many words.
But explaining your pants?
Explaining my pants pia, like so this is the one thing yenye sijai pata, because it's part of the weird, it's part of the taste yenye niko nayo, like it's my taste. So I don't have, it gets me frustrated because I don't have words or vocabulary for it yet. But if I do, hopefully when I do have words, I think it will become less frustrating to me to explain to someone else, because itakuwa tu like, yeah man, I like these pants because ni Kikoi and I'm Swahili and these colors appeal to me. I like yellow, I like this, I like that. It come naturally. The same way the cutting of words and speaking about something else, it come too naturally. But it has hindered my artistry, to be honest.
Yeah. Around the workspace, definitely. Because especially the guys who write the bigger checks are very suit and tie. What about intimacy? You spoke of your girlfriend right now, hata ikiwa ilikuwa in passing, but have you felt the same even when it comes to relating sasa from that we are dating kind of platform? This is me and has it been a place of conflict?
Yes. Obviously, but it happens with every relationship, right? Even with us as friends, we are all artists here to some degree, and it comes to that, like you start feeling like, okay, so let me match energy ya Mato, let me match energy ya kamande alafu hapo hivyo maybe tutaanza kubonga like it's always there. I understand that it's always going to be there. It's funny because yesterday I invited a friend of mine up. He's a doctor at Aga Khan, Calif. And he sat here with me showing him music that I showed my girlfriend, but my girlfriend had a separate reaction. Yeah, look like, yeah. You don't have to. You got to. Calif hapa hivi, he was like, what? So your energy hata mimi nikaimatch. You go like, yes, you see what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
And ilikuwa so nice. I felt liberated. Niko like, wow, man, we are on the same wavelength, friend.
Yeah.
We are on the same wave. Tunasoma lyrics, tuna go back to this,
Yeah.
tuna go back to that. Us talking about hip hop, pia
Yeah.
inakuanga hivyo.
Yeah.
Alafu kamanda kianza reggae, pia mimi natafuta like points of, unajua, like my pockets tu hapo hivyo. Even though mimi najua chronics tu na Bob Marley. Kutu hapo tunatafuta tu macho.
Granted, you know Protege.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because he raps too. That's why I've gravitated towards him. However, I'm coming to accept say like I can't have that with everyone.
Yeah.
Even the people that I love most, I can't have that with them, and it's okay.
So question about certain things, and I think music is the best one around the idea of free will. Do you think people choose the music or the things that they deeply feel attracted to?
I think you asked me this question siku fulani hapa before people streamed in. I can't remember my answer then, but I feel like you choose the type of music that you want, because music to me, whenever I choose to listen to 90s hip hop until today. I know there's good music from UK saizi. I know there's good music from Australia, from Ghana, from Kenya, from here. I know for a fact that kuna music itanishika tu hapo hivyo na nisiachilie. But maybe the familiarity to the 90s hip hop sasa. Ndo hata the new guys who I'm listening to, they're called Coast Contra.
Feels like a Kasmola Wutang. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
These guys are amazing. Like back to the basics ya
Yeah.
rap, unajua metaphors, bars and double entendres, unajua like wow, this is so nice. This is why I fell in love with language in the first place. So that's what I gravitate to. Like hiyo ndo mimi nimechoose.
Now that part, I think that's where the point of departure is, because I don't think you choose it. Because I'd posit it that sai enda uchukue ngoma ya Kikamba, right? And fall in love with it. Make that decision. Can you?
I actually think you could find your way there.
Yeah, I think that's what matatus do to people.
Yeah,
unajua?
They do that to people,
Yeah.
but you will not find yourself something that is beyond your control, right? Is what gets you to feel this way about certain genres or certain things. Yeah, and I've experimented this myself. I had a hip hop phase, right? You know
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
I tried. I gave it my best shot, and I've had this conversation with a few people. You give it your best shot because you want to fit in to stories with your friends. Because at that point you're thinking, hey, if only we'd be on the same page in terms of music, this would be better for a relationship. I think that's the wrong way to look at it personally, but it didn't stop me from trying. Yeah, and I find myself, I observe myself trying to do it sometimes still, but I catch myself now. And I tried my best to fall in love with hip hop. I had every CD. Kwanza hiyo time ilikuwa the era of remixes, time sijui Lil Wayne alatoa ngoma alafu then the DJ called a remix of sijui how many guys. I used to rap to all the verses, and then it just never clicked.
Maybe it's the place that you're in. That's where the music finds you. Because even the type of reggae that Kamande plays here, like it's modern reggae, modern from modern artists, but they're talking about some things that you actually believe in, that you feel there's a purpose to it. Kama Chronix talking about the oneness and community of black people, or even Prodigy, because he's rapping.
Yep.
Prodigy raps. But he talks about the oneness as well, and community
conscious music.
and love. That's what you gravitate towards.
Yeah.
And that's what I gravitated towards when I listened to Wu-Tang Sasa for the second time. You go like, oh my God, yeah. The roughness is just the delivery, but they're talking about awesome things.
Absolutely. So the underlying platform, and maybe this is even brings to why, we are friends, for instance, right? And the people you brought here, we all sort of gravitate towards the same things fundamentally. I think they're all how do I say this? They're all within the same spectrum, only that they're expressed in different ways. So
This
you
is
and
true.
me and Mato, for instance, like me not loving hip hop as much as Mato doesn't stop us from being friends, because fundamentally we're expressing the same thing,
Exactly. Yeah.
right? You and I expressing the same exact thing,
Yeah.
only that you'll express it through your love for. There's a hip hop guy introduced me to who's very conscious. I can't remember his name. I know this because he even has a jam with Chronics. You told me about him maybe 3 or so months ago.
Yeah.
Joy Badass.
Joy Badass.
Joy
right?
Badass.
I like
knew
Joy
it.
Badass, yeah.
There
Like
you go.
Joy Badass,
Nico,
Yeah, Joy Badass, right?
Yeah.
So it's the same exact thing, only that I don't feel that pull to Joy Badass, despite him having the same exact message.
Yeah.
Which is, I find
He's very conscious.
he's very conscious, right?
Yeah.
I'll still find myself going to listen to Kabaka Pyramid and Protege and Janine and Chronics and whoever, right? Same thing with Abu, right? We are all on the same platform. We agree on the ideals and maybe how life should be approached, but we do not choose maybe the next level of that. Yeah, in terms of
The
how
approach is different.
the approach is different, and I don't think we get to choose it.
I see how you could see that. Honestly, naweza jipata somewhere in the middle, but more or less closer to the choice. But I also see where that comes from, because, like you said, you're only using music as an example. But it could be in so many other things where you feel this thing. Ni ile conversation tulikuwa tuna have. Was it meant to be? Like every time in retrospect tunaangalia nyuma uko, wait, was it power of choice? Was I choosing to be here? Was I meant to be here? So it's am I choosing to like this? I'm actually born to be drawn to this. So I see where that conversation could be. In fact, let's plug that and make it a topic for one of our offshoots.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big one. The idea of free will and the fact that so many things come together for us to be where we are. And looking back, we think we've made choices, but something as simple as you remembering, right? So, and sorry for the detour, but I think this is what this podcast is about.
Yeah.
Something as people judge and feel so many things about people not remembering their names, for instance.
Yeah.
Yeah, granted, there are things you could do to improve your memory, whatever. But I don't think anyone wants to forget anyone's name and they go home and they're like, nataka kusahau jina ya Abu leo. You know, no one ever does that,
it's
right?
never.
It just happens,
Yeah.
right? We don't have control over that yet. Everyone assumes that you make a choice to do certain things.
Yeah.
Something as now there is the whole gut-mind connection where what you want to eat as your next meal, right?
Yeah.
You make a decision nataka kula ngano. Yeah.
Mbona unani-enjoy?
It's your gut
It's
speaking
like
to you.
subtle.
Kwa hapa tu
Hey,
Telegram.
what the heck?
Takula ngano.
Who the shoe fits. What do they say? If the shoe fits.
Yeah.
So to bring this back to the idea of free
Sorry,
to the idea of free will and the lack thereof, again it's tied to an ancient idea of there being a self who makes this decision, and there is fundamentally based on modern science as well as ancient Eastern philosophies. There's no self at the center of it who is making these decisions. It's all experience, and experience hits you in different ways. So for music, for instance, based on all your sense spheres, it happens to all of us, and then maybe to some people this sounds better, the other sounds better, and you become more drawn to it.
Yeah.
But there's no one at the center of it or the self making this decision. But again, we could have a separate podcast.
We could have an
Yeah.
episode for
That,
that, for
that
sure.
requires an entire
Hii tunafaa kuongea hii. There's something else we didn't disagree, but we talked about for
Suffering.
a minute. Suffering.
Yeah, this and
Yes, so
suffering.
note that. Jackie, note that. Hiyo ni suffering and an episode on free will.
Free will.
There we go.
Okay,
Aye.
so Abu, you're doing, Matu asked you about doing so many different things and how you find the time to do it, and you talked about it. But there's one thing that you do and you spoke about, but we did not get to how this came about and how you actually got to be fucking good about it, which is the whole sound engineering and actually you having a studio and a space for people like us and other artists to come in. How did all that come about?
I listened to Good Kid, Mad City. It changed my entire life. There's an interview that I saw Kendrick Lamar answering that same question. Akisema like he was in school and listening to music, to Eminem's, the Dr. Dre's, and he was like, how the hell do they do this thing? Like, how am I watching a movie with my ears? Like, what's that about? And so it never hit home until hiyo time sasa nikasikiza Good Kid, Mad City the first time, like an entire run through. I swear to God, I felt like I missed out on so much because nilika tu I don't know where I was, but I was just staring into the sky and into the abyss, and I'm like, how did I just watch this movie with my ears? Like, what's happening? Say like, how old is he? And then your route sasa like Kendrick Lamar age, Kendrick Lamar net worth, Kendrick Lamar's unajua like the rabbit hole. Until now I got into the YouTube's the channel. I love YouTube for the mere fact that it is a platform mainly, I know it's entertainment saizi, but mainly it's the how to. The YouTube University is amazing because nilianza tu kuingia hapo hivyo like, how do you turn sound into this? How do you make someone who's recorded in a studio sound like they're in the street? How do you do this nini? What are the plugins? What are this? What are that? Nini? What are the effects? And then sasa nikaanza kubuild too from my Amazon cart. And I know like similar to what you say, like the sounds and music choose you, it's the same thing that happens around you, even with the people that you have, the support system. Because my friend Medi started a company, she imports and selling items. It's called coolstuff.shop. Now, like at that point we didn't know how to order things from Maju. Unajua, stuff here was equipment ilikuwa very expensive, or even trying to find someone who can explain to you what equipment nini like you should buy as an entry level, what you should transition to nini. It was just information that wasn't going around. People were holding their cards close to their chest. He started that company. Akil was into hip hop as well, kuchambua like what the lines mean, the lyrics, the this, the that. He transitioned from Lil Wayne all the way to Kendrick, all the way to Drake. He came about your circle yote, so he was always speaking about the album. I got the information. Yeah, you can order easy stuff. Like, what do you want? You can order it from Amazon. Nitakuletea from Medi, my friend and brother. From Akil, I go like, yo man, hii place yenye alikuwa afanya hivi sijui ni nini, and you hear them in the car, unajua hii stuff yote ilikuwa recorded kwa studio blah blah. I go like, really? How? YouTube, naenda narudi. And then what equipment entry level do I need to get this thing started? Nikabuy hizi mics, nikabuy speakers, nikabuy nini. I did not have any knowledge of these things. And I need to shout out one special person, two actually, Hodho and Moha. Hodho was alikuwa naona like I need could get into sound engineering, but I can only afford one thing. I had major opportunity cost. Ilikuwa either nilipe nyumba na food or ni buy equipment. Akakaa mkasema niaje, shika hii TV, nimelipa rent for this couple of months. Wow. Go do your thing. I did not know like people can get themselves to the level ya hey, I see the spark in you, do this. Moha came through skuflani to like, he went to Somalia for a job. And no, actually Mombasa for a job. And after a few months akakam to like out of nowhere, he does this all the time. God damn it, say like he does this all the time. Out of nowhere talk like, Abu, nime make deal poa, niko na 200k yako.
Wow.
What? Niko na 200k yako. What do you want to start? You're like, bro, are you serious? Nini like hiyo time yote media kwa hapa hivi ship ndakuletea, no charges. Akil, even ndo hii stuff inachambuliwa. Hodho, nimekulipia rent. Moha, yo niaje, I'm feeling really good, nimemake hii deal, 200k shika, na tunaenda Zanzibar. That's where that picture was taken.
Amazing.
Providence.
It's
like,
man. Wow.
And I, like people keep telling me like, don't talk about your dreams or your plans nini because people will bring you down. It's the people you surround yourself with. Because I talked about these dreams now, I say each one of them I was telling them, see ati asking them for things, I was just telling them, man, hii album imeni change life yangu, mefanya hivi, and I really want to do this stuff. Hii stuff manzina ni kill nataka, it keeps me awake. I need to know what Kanye uses, I need to know hivo. and they're just taking notes. Hivyo tu, they're just taking notes. Hivyo tu, like, how can I help this guy? And that's the circle of friends that I have. Whether tukosane, whether tuongeleshani, whether tufanyi nini, we always come back to help each other in the sense that, I notice umebai gari, you probably need the spare tires, nini blah blah, na tunanyamazia tu. And then next round, shika, I got you. Your stuff inani build so much to the sense that it inspired me to get sasa into the sound production thing. Like, wow, I can't let any of these guys down, and especially myself now.
Yo, I like that.
That's such a beautiful story.
So I bought the equipment from the 20,
Yes,
like
yes.
everything. That laptop you see,
Yeah.
bought from that money. The speakers, these microphones, everything, like, started off from that.
It feels the radiance of your passion is so strong that it invites favor. Unajua?
Yeah.
Man, that's a gift.
It's a
like
gift.
even surrounding yourself there. And najua tunaenda more and more to come closer to the winding up. But now that we are there, how particular are you with the people you surround yourself with? Is it because you got a corrosion from an experience in the past to go, no, these are the people I want out of my circles? It just happens that from unajua class 3, living that life in boarding, ndio ulianza kuwa, no, these are the people I want beside me. How particular are you with choosing?
From a very young age nilikuwa najua like, everyone needs a chance. So mi huongea na anyone.
Yeah.
I talk to everyone, try to build a relationship. If it fails, yes, it hurts, but pia kuna ile resolve ya, you know what, man, I tried to get to know this person, or this person even tried to get to know me, and it failed from my end. And that's okay. Like, providing the space for people to have that connection. Nakushow for real, some of the people that I are not accustomed to me and how I speak and how I express myself, they always say like, hey man, you're saying too much. I'm like, I'm not. Like, I trust these guys. You know, like I know even if there's ill will that comes through, it'll change at some point. It's just, I don't know, instinct or gut feeling or something, but I know like nikisema some things to other people, it might not have the same returns that when I say it with my circle of friends. Sasa.
Yeah.
But I don't close myself up from making friends, because you never know. Man, the one thing ilinimuvisha to this place that I have right now and having the space that we are all enjoying is because I spoke about my story to someone who is a complete stranger. A producer siju from Australia just came through. Like, okay, when we are dumping cards after a long day of shooting, we're just chatting, talking to each other. And I didn't hold back. Like, I didn't close my cages and like, I didn't gonna dark secrets. It's just, this is where I'm at with my life. This is what I need. This is what I need. Thank you for the opportunity. And I'm going home. Months later, she gave me one of the biggest jobs that I've ever had in my entire life. I'm like, what? I was like, yeah, man, do what you have to do. And even Jana, we were talking with each other. Kisema, listen, I am scheduling you for something else on Wednesday, blah, blah. Like, it's just a pure thing. Yeah, maybe I believe now that people mean good and mean well. You know, like, everyone wants to help each other and contribute to someone else's success or someone else's betterment. And that's what I believe. That's my thinking, Pierre. Whenever Kamande will gonna try kuni show that your story, I shouldn't be feeling like I need to hold the fort financially for my, the expenses that I have separately. But to me, Nico, like, you know what? I've received so much and I want to give back, Pierre. I've received hizi vitu zote just from speaking and telling my story. This is what rappers do. This is what musicians get.
This is storytelling.
This is storytelling. This is what artists and actors do. This is they're expressing and they're getting something back. Maybe from empathy, from connection, relativity, whatever. They're getting something back. And that's what I want to lead my life with. Like, I want to help. I want to be there.
Yeah.
And may favor, different thing, favor.
Always be there.
Yeah.
I think for that particular one, I feel like you're always so hard on yourself in these conversations that we have off the record. Because I feel like maybe you think you're not doing it already. Like, you feel, whatever you're doing here, Abu, it's a lot. I don't know if you know that. It's a lot already. Your contribution to the world by just being you and chasing your dreams and speaking about them, it's already tons and tons. It's immeasurable. Yeah. So I understand the need for you to want to do more, which is good. It's what drives us. But I guess the point I'm coming from is, do not be too attached to doing something even grander. Yeah, it's a good goal to have, but do not be too hard on yourself.
I hear you.
That's the whole idea.
I hear
Because whatever you're doing, it's incredible, and the world is a much better place with you.
With you in it.
I mean, at least my world, right? Think about the ripple effect. And right now I want to send just 1 minute, take us, just send happiness and peace and so much gratefulness to Hodho and the rest of the guys, because they're the reason we're here.
Yeah.
They're the reason Mato and I enjoy our Saturdays.
Exactly.
Yeah.
30-something episodes
30-something
so
episodes,
far.
yeah.
There's so much more coming, man.
And this has a ripple effect. So all that generosity and compassion from them on you has a ripple effect to Mato and I, to my family.
To the world.
Because the moment I go home every single Saturday after being here in this space and experiencing such good vibes and such good energy, I'm a much better parent. I'm a much better dad. Yeah. And it carries on until the next time we're here. Then I come in for my refill. I mean, not meaning that my days are bad, but it's like,
Yeah, what you mean.
yeah. So special shout out to everyone on that upstream, coming all the way, and it's a lot. That, the world is a much better place.
Asante sana maze, asante sana. You know what I feel? And the best part is we are here with you. So episodes tutazifuatanisha maze.
Yeah.
Hata some of the offshoots maze. Now, especially now that we've gone visual.
Yeah, true.
Sasa ni kukuvuta tu ndani na tuendelee. But I strongly feel we still have
A lot.
many parts after this.
That's true.
We are only in 30-something to call episode 36.
36.
So by the time we're getting to at least episode 100, we'll have more of this. So this is for the guys who are listening, for the guys who are watching. Asanteni sana. Thank you so much, Abu. I really want to ask what next, but I won't. Because, what is next is always as exciting. Nantapik, to your point here, where we are already is a lot. So celebrating that. We see you, bro.
Asante, man.
Busy being born couldn't be what it is without you.
Asante.
Without you, Maze, you are a very integral part of this. As in, things aligned. Episode 1 and 2 tunashukuru for the grace that we had. By the time parts zetu zilikuwa nafika from episode 3 kuendelea, ilikuwa again, it's as if it was meant to be. Yet tuko hapa just making choices. Then here we are. And all the guests that we have had so far, I always see their faces wakiingia. You guy maze. So man, radiance yako, bidii yako, we see you, we celebrate you, bro. So stay busy being born.
Yeah,
keep going.
I guess the final question, because there is so much to talk about, but what quote are you sort of leaning into currently?
You'll be extremely disappointed, and it's
No,
something, and it's something,
that's why quite deep.
and it's something that maybe tutabonga on the offshoots.
Yeah,
but I live by money, man. To be honest, I don't know when the relationship between Africans and money changed, or where your stuff here, money is the root of all evil, came about. I live by it. Like it makes me do so much for myself and others. The same thing that Hodho, Natasha, Moha, Akil, and Mehdi, all of them do. Man, it comes from having resources. And in our world of today, come to from
cash rules everything around me.
Cream, get the money.
Dollar bill, yo.
Unajua. That's
no. 100%.
I live by that.
We can't do this without money.
Exactly.
Yeah?
Sure. Yeah.
I guess I'm not actually. Why would I be disappointed? There's no expectation whatsoever. I think we can't do this without resources. Yeah. What my teaching is, and what I know is that it's okay to have that money and to look for it. It's not okay to get attached to it.
Attachment.
I'm not attached. Money is boring as hell. As itself, it is supremely boring. Death by boring, by boredom. But if you have like the exciting parts in your pursuit of it, getting it, and what you do after getting it,
Absolutely.
that's the most exciting part about it.
Bro,
So now cream.
Wu-Tang wakiwachi, they'd be super happy, man. So shout out Meth. That's my favorite rapper. Yeah, man. Asante sana. For the guys at home, it's been a blessing doing this particular one. We are here visually. We have been here for a minute. 30-something, meaning that's 2 years in the making.
Yeah.
Tumemaliza September, jana.
Yeah, 2 years.
And yeah, hey, congrats. Happy anniversary.
Happy
man.
anniversary,
Hey, happy
man.
anniversary,
Bana
guys.
jo. Yeah, man. So check us out on all different platforms, whatever you listen to, like Palionaskiza, whether it's give me examples, Podbean,
Spotify,
Google Pods,
yeah,
whatever.
Stitcher.
Anywhere you can find us. Busy Being Born, we've been here, we've had interviews. Ali speak of Monaja, I thought of King Wakamenshu. We've had King Wakamenshu here. We've had Eric, we've been planning to have hiyo nilikuwa naenda kusema. We've had Samsoko spoke about the goodness of humanity, and this is another episode that we feel that pia imekuwa highlighted. We've had Nick Ndeda, we've had Mufasa, we've gone to the tech world as well.
Maze.
Dr. Shiko. We've had
Zoita.
Prof Nanda.
And,
Like we've had Akinyi. We've had so many people here. So now that we are here on YouTube, ama at least visually, check us out. Enda ulize, hase wamedo nini ingine. Maze conversations ingine deep sana. Abu yuchangia pia, unamsikia huko nyuma. Tuko, Abu, ile ngoma, maze. Maze. Or
What's
anything
number 4 in
else.
Spanish?
What's number 4? Yeah, so check us out, man. It's an honor. Let's keep doing this.
Yeah. I don't have anything much more to add. But thank you for being here, listening. Go back to the archives. And we keep spotlighting African excellence. And Abu is definitely a story of African excellence worth being spotlighted over and over again.
Yes, man.
Yeah.
Asante sana, man.
Asante, man.
We celebrate
Yeah.
you.
Thank you.
Find us everywhere on Twitter, on Instagram, on TikTok. We're now on TikTok at busybingborn_. Find us on our website. We always promise to write a bit more. Maybe we will one day.
Our website is
busybingborn.africa. Listen to all the episodes. Read a few stories on the blog posts in there. Check us on Facebook as well, the Busy Being Born podcast. Yeah, and follow, share, recommend to your friend, and most importantly, stay busy being born.
Stay busy being born. Asanteni sana. Thank you so much to our crew, the team, the ladies. Thank you, Grace. Thank you, Jackie. I have been one of the hosts right here, Kigodu.
Kamade.
And you know what we say?
If you're not busy being born,
then you're probably busy not leaving.
peace.
Peace.